Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Let's do that again.
Oh, let's do.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Hey.
Hello, KZOOMers.
So good to see you.
Getting to see some of my favorite people.
In the whole world.
And every week I get to see you, and it's such a joy. And more as the world out there seems crazier and crazier, it's like this is kind of like our moment of touching in to a deep sanity, which the deep sanity is the place of the truth, which is the place of our connection to each other, of our power, really, which is connected to the God flow through us, especially when it seems like from the world there's a message out there of that sends us to like the illusion of powerlessness, I guess. And so to counter that, to remember our power, it feels important to come together and to do practice, and to raise the vibration, and that to me, what's the hallelujah does is raise the vibration. And sometimes the vibration in the world seems to like
pulling me down.
caught up into that low vibration. And it's my responsibility to raise the vibration within me, knowing that it has an effect out into the world.
Yeah.
So the theme for the KZOOM is embodying love. And for me, the Song of Songs is such a kind of a bridge from my inner reality into the outer reality. And it's like because it describes an embodied love. And I want to take that love into my body. I remember the first time I really got into walking meditation. So I would be in my stillness, and then from that stillness, I would begin to walk and find the stillness within the movement. And it felt to me such an important bridge, because we could tend to compartmentalize and sort of find God in the stillness and then just like go on with our lives, but to take that core of stillness and bring it into our movement in the world. And I'm thinking of our movement in the world as the way we move the world also, the movement of our impact of our energy on the world through our movements. So what inspires me today from the parsha of the Song of Songs, the Song of Songs of tzarah, are the words that say, these words of love that are seeing you, are seeing myself as in these words of the lover, who says, I see you, my love, as a mare among Pharaoh's chariots.
Your cheeks as beautiful as jewels, your throat encircled with beads. I will make you golden earrings studded with silver.
So those words, I see you as a mare among Pharaoh's chariots, just felt like this is a powerful way of seeing, of being seen. And for me, as I chant these words, I'm feeling like the pull to become completely embodied, and that's what the mare represents, and into a place of dignity and both vulnerability and power, really, like the stance I want to take in my life as a holy animal. And I realized that, being a mare, means being completely embodied, of coming out from just living in my head and, inhabiting the fullness of my body. And in order to do that, I realized this week that the breath is the key. That if I can breathe into the fullness of my body and breathe out from that fullness, I can find my way back into embodiment. There's this teaching from Will Johnson that says, breath wants to liberate itself, to free itself from its encasing in the body's frozen stillness. The whole of the body wants to keep moving, not even a single part left out, everything in motion, just like the universe. And what I'm looking for in becoming that mare is a sense of aliveness. And aliveness is kind of the measure of my practice. I want a practice that opens me to more aliveness. The Rabbi Nachman of Chernobyl, who was a student of the Baal Shem Tov, said, I am alive. And who is this aliveness that I am? Yes. Is it not the Holy Blessed One? Is it not God in me that is alive? That is my aliveness. It's that divine beingness that is moving through me. And I can either block the flow or open to it. So let's take the first step, maybe before we even chant, is to do a little bit of breathing, of conscious breathing.
Oh, good. It's always good.
Always good. And so as we take a breath, see if you can let that in-breath fill up your whole body, to feel it even in your toes and your knees. Filling up with aliveness, and then the out-breath sending that aliveness as blessing into the world. With each breath, kind of finding little places inside me that might have gone numb, and filling it up with aliveness, letting myself be breathed by the Holy Blessed One. And from there we will enter into our that sense of being the Mare, being completely embodied in grace and power.
L'susati berikve Pharaoh dimitich rayati 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 L'susati berikve Pharaoh dimitich Merik Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati, susati, Merik Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati. Susati, Merik Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati. Susati, Merik Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati.
Closed and come back to that breathing in, the aliveness, filling up the whole space of our body with that aliveness, and letting it breathe, come through us. So I think that the breath is key, because when we get afraid, we stop breathing, or we start to breathe very shallow. Mm-hmm. And when we're in shock, when we're kind of like thrown off balance, we stop breathing. And when we stop breathing, we stop being embodied. We kind of leave our bodies. You know, that's the trauma response. Is like, whoa, not safe here.
Dissociate.
And so we want to call in that sense of being embodied. There is this Atharu tribe of Indonesia in Papua New Guinea, and that has a beautiful saying that Brené Brown taught me this. A beautiful saying that they have in that tribe is, knowledge is only a rumor until it lives in the muscle.
That's pretty good.
Knowledge is only a rumor until it lives in the muscle. So we want to put it in the muscle. And I think of chant as being an embodied practice. And I like to move in the chant and feel the vibrations in the muscle, in the body, really to let it vibrate in my body, so that it will then guide me in my life. That truth, which could only be a rumor, can now live it in the muscle. So I thought that at this time we could do this practice that I called resilience. And it's really a practice of not getting stuck, really. It's like we go through difficult journeys, difficult passages. We're in, the United States right now is in a difficult passage right now. And Israel is in a difficult passage. It's like, and we tend to somehow get, in sometimes in those difficulties, we don't know what to do, and we freeze, and we get a kind of a paralysis. And when we do that, we close off the energy, we close off the life force from entering through us and moving us on our pathway. So these words from Psalm 138 really are about getting unstuck. And it says, even though even when we walk in the midst of trouble and tzarah, at that very moment, in the midst of that trouble, we can take a breath and breathe in the life force that will clear us, guide us, move us on the path. So im aylech b'kerev tzarah, even when we're walking in that trouble, and I think that it's troubling times right now, even then, this magic word, which is tichayeni, it has in the word, in the center of that word, chai, life, aliveness. And so the beginning of the word says you, and the end of the word ni, me. So you, life, me. You bring aliveness back into me even when I've been cut off, by my paralysis, my shock, my discouragement, my disappointments, the things that shut us down. And invite you, if you feel moved, to get up and move to this. And as we sing those words, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, you can just take a walk in your own and feel your own tzarahs, your own troubledness. And then in the midst of it, we open to the possibility of life, of breath, of aliveness entering us as the divine miraculous spirits. So im aylech b'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah. Take a moment of pause and realize, I can just breathe that in. I can take in that life force. It's right there. And we enter back into the tzarahs. B'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah. Oh, tichayeni. Even though the world is so crazy, and it feels so hard. We open to the miracle.
Tichayeni, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, im aylech b'kerev tzarah, tichayeni,
A giving of life, a receiving of life, that aliveness of the Holy One coming in, filling you. You might even direct that aliveness to some part of your body that it might be in need of aliveness, or flexibility, or openness. So filling up, letting yourself expand into that sense of embodiment, embodying love. And becoming porous, so that God can touch you. Opening the places in you that might have shut down because of fear, anxiety, discouragement. using the breath to just open that up, open up all of that spaciousness. So this teaching from Judith Blackstone, it says, as embodiment is living within, being present within the internal space of the body. It's something quite different than being aware of the body. So it's sort of just to make that distinction. It's not me up here being aware of my body. It's living inside, being present with that internal space of the body. And what it reminded me of this practice that I wanted to do that's called the God field. And the God field practice says the one who trusts in God will be surrounded and filled with loving kindness. It's like the field of loving kindness becomes the field of the body. That we are embodying that loving kindness. We're not just like trying it on like clothes. We're living it from the inside, from that internal space. And that God space. And it feels like, and this idea of trusting in God, trusting in reality itself, means that the place in me that is tense releases that tension and relaxes into that internal space. So, wherever we're tense, we're not letting God in. We're not letting aliveness in. And so that relaxation, the letting go of the tension in the body, but also in the energy body, really, so that our energy field is filled with that life force, And when we do that, we are surrounding ourselves with kindness, our own kindness. We are attracting kindness to us. We are opening our eyes to it in the world. What I feel like there's so much right now that kind of rivets us into like the weird negative thing happens and then we can't look away, But actually what's good for us is to be able to find like the choice of what we want to bring our focus to. And whatever we bring our focus to is what we are growing, I think. And so it really matters where I put my focus. I want to know what's happening in the world, but then I want to have a choice that says and I'm going to put my attention right here. Because this is what I want to grow, really. I want to grow kindness, really. And so whenever I encounter kindness, I want to lift it up. I want to bring my attention to it. I want to celebrate it. I want to say this is the underlying truth, this place of love. And so let's explore this, this HaBotayach. This HaBotayach is the one who trusts. And to trust is to relax, to lean back, to allow ourselves to feel held. And when we do that, we are releasing the power of chesed, of that loving kindness. It will surround us. It will fill our field. It will inspire others. And it's so needed, And I think it's a good strategy also to say, we're here to serve one another. That's what's going to save me. I was talking to someone today who was saying, who's your community? Are you supporting each other? And she said, no, we're commiserating with each other. And I said, well, how might we kind of transform commiseration into mutual support? I thought, and she said, that's a good question to sit. What? Mm-hmm. And so we might sit with that question among us, we as well. It's like, how do we transform the place of commiseration into mutual support? And I think it liberates us through kindness. Want to do that?
Yes.
So this is a two-part round. And so it's so one part of it says HaBotayach Badonai, like the one who trusts. So we kind of want to embody that trust, and then notice the effect of doing that is like this chesed Yisov Avenu. Okay. HaBotayach. Keeping our eyes closed, returning to the breath, and this time breathing in a sense of God's presence, and breathing out kindness, breathing in that trust in God in reality, and breathing out, surrounding yourself with kindness, sending it into the world, breathing in that sense of trust, breathing out kindness, and this time breathing in kindness, and breathing out trust in that, breathing in that kindness, breathing out our trust, our relaxation. Breathing in all of the kindness, the goodness of life. And breathing out our trust in its inherent, the goodness of the world. And before you open your eyes, just notice the effect of the practice, where it's brought you. See if you can take do a little spiritual photography of that state of trust and kindness that we want to live into this week, to embody that love. So one more practice that I wanted to do with you is called a narrow bridge. It comes from the words from Rabbi Nachman of Bratzlav, And I really wanted to address the obstacle to embodied love, which is fear. And because when we, and fear takes many forms. Sometimes it takes the form of anger, of paralysis, of disconnection, but to be able to say that at its root is fear. And so these words from Rabbi Nachman say that all the world is a narrow bridge, meaning like, whoa, it's hard, it's a balancing act. It's hard it's hard not to fall off into that abyss on either side of us. That there is a kind of like, we need to stay really kind of carefully focused and balanced to walk that in the narrow bridge of this world. And then the main thing is not to fear. The main thing is not to fear. So I want to say that fear is something that happens, and I don't want to get stuck there. And my commitment is to not be ruled by fear. It's like to know, where am I coming from? When I'm coming from fear, I need to reorient. The fear is something that kind of naturally happens, but but I want to be so aware that when it seizes me, I want to be able to make a commitment, say, I'm not living from there. I'm not speaking from there. I'm not acting in the world from there, because that's just going to bring more destruction into the world, more meanness out of that fear. So I want to come from love, but I have to acknowledge the fear and to make that commitment not to live from there, and then to go on walking that narrow bridge with mindfulness, with awareness, with loving attention. So this is so I wanted to end with this practice, and there's another old melody for this, but this is the one that I love. My melody for this that really moves me. And it has so we're going to acknowledge the dangers of the world, and make our commitment when to that place of courage, really. And looking around the KZOOM room, you might want to be encouraged by these other faces here. That we're here to encourage each other. It's a great word, encourage, because I need encouragement sometimes, and maybe it's because of like the fear that seizes me, that makes me discouraged, and then I want to be encouraged again. So let's chant these words together. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tzar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tzar me'od. V'ha'ikar lo העיקר לא לפחד כלל. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol
ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Oh, the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. Oh, the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Oh, the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal, v'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. Oh, the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Oh, the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. So returning to the breath as you breathe in, filling yourself with courage, and breathing out your radiant light, filling up with that encouragement, and breathing out your commitment
to walk this path with integrity. And opening your eyes, looking around the KZOOM room and receiving each other's support, and which we can't do it without that support. And we're going to open to it, receive it.
Oh, I needed that. I bet you did too. That feels really good.
So I invite you all to go to the website, give a little donation in honor of what you received, and there are a couple of retreats coming up, a little bit of room in maybe a couple more spaces in the Love at the Center retreat in Florida, and there's a retreat in Connecticut, in Hartford, Connecticut, that I'm doing with a Episcopal priest. Together we're walking, exploring love in Christian and Islamic and Jewish paths of love. So I feel like doing interfaith work at this time is also just such a priority, to be able to create that connection with the other and break down some of the barriers between us. So I'm going to